Day 15, 3 travelers. One hot summer afternoon, Abraham was sitting outside his tent when 3 travelers came by. Abraham saw them, and he jumped up and called out to them, "Come, let me get you some water to wash your tired feet." Then Abraham ran back to the tent. "Sarah," he said, "would you make some bread for our guests?" Sarah cooked while Abraham went out in search of his best calf to serve with some milk and yogurt. The men gathered around under the shady trees, sharing a drink and talking. Sarah was listening by the tent door. One of the men said, "Abraham, your wife will give birth to a son soon." When Sarah heard this, she laughed to herself. "Why did Sarah laugh?" God asked Abraham. "Doesn't she think she can have a child in her old age? I am God, and nothing is too difficult for me. I promise by this time next year, you will already have your baby boy." Day 16. Good people in a wicked city. The 3 travelers got up to leave. Abraham walked with them a ways. God said to Abraham, "I have heard that the people of Sodom and Gomorrah are doing all kinds of evil things. I have heard that many of them sin and carry out wicked deeds. I'm going to see if all of this is true. What do you think, Abraham?" Abraham thought about it. Then he turned to God and said, "What if there are 50 good people living in Sodom? Are you going to destroy those in the city who are righteous?" God answered, "I will save the city for 50 good people." Then Abraham asked, "What if there are 40 good people?" And God told Abraham, "If there are 40 good people, I still won't destroy the city." Abraham thought of it for a moment. Then he said, "God, what about 20 good people? Will you destroy the city if there are 20 good people?" God told Abraham, "If there are 20 good people, I still won't destroy the city." But Abraham was still not satisfied. "And what if there are only 10 good people?" Yet again, God told Abraham, "If there are only 10 good people, I won't destroy the city." Then God departed, and Abraham turned back to his tent, where Sarah was waiting. Day 17. God saves Lot and his family. Abraham's nephew Lot lived in the city of Sodom. 2 angels came to warn Lot of God's plan to destroy the city. Lot invited them into his home for the night. The angels told Lot, "God has plans to destroy the city of Sodom because it is turning into a dark and evil place. Your family has been faithful and good. You will be saved by God's grace." A group of men from Sodom had gathered outside Lot's home to attack the 2 angels. The angels bolted the door and said, "Lot, take your family and all your relatives and leave now. God plans to burn this wicked city. Quick, leave before the city turns to ash." Lot got his wife and 2 daughters. They hurried and stumbled over the rocks and escaped from the burning city. God had not forgotten his promise to Abraham. He saved Lot and his family. Day 18. Isaac is born. God kept his promise to Abraham and Sarah. He gave them a healthy baby boy. They named him Isaac. Isaac was a beautiful baby. Abraham was very proud. Sarah looked up at her husband and said, "Who would have guessed that we would have a son in our old age? I will never laugh at God's promise again. Now I think it's silly I ever doubted God at all." Isaac was a good baby, and they both loved him dearly. As Isaac grew older, Abraham and Sarah spent a lot of time with him. Abraham taught Isaac all about God's wonderful world. Sarah went on long walks with the young boy. She pointed out the animals and plants and taught Isaac their names. Abraham and Sarah knew Isaac would grow up into a strong servant of God. Day 19. Abraham obeys God. After several years had passed, God decided to test Abraham's trust and obedience. God said to Abraham, "Go get Isaac, your son, whom you love so dearly. Take him to a high mountaintop of Moriah and kill him on an altar as a sacrifice in honor of me." Abraham's heart nearly broke with sadness when he heard God's words. Abraham had cared for Isaac, played with Isaac, and taught him all kinds of things. Now God was asking him to sacrifice his promised child. But Abraham was filled with faith and love for God. He knew that his only choice was to obey. Abraham got up early the next morning and chopped wood for the altar. He tied the wood into bundles. Then he told Isaac to come with him up the steep mountain. Abraham and Isaac were out of breath by the time they reached the top. Abraham took the wood and coals and made an altar in the spot where God had told him to sacrifice Isaac. Then Isaac said, "Father, we have the coals and the wood, but where's the lamb for the sacrifice?" Abraham answered sadly, "God will provide the lamb, son." Abraham knew that God had intended Isaac to be the sacrifice, but he just couldn't bring himself to tell his son. Abraham tied up Isaac, but just as he was about to kill him, the angel of the Lord called out, "Stop, Abraham. Don't kill Isaac. Now I know that you are willing to sacrifice the most precious thing that belongs to you. You trusted me and obeyed my command. Because of this, I will bless your family forever." Abraham sighed with relief. He sacrificed a ram to God instead. Abraham and Isaac went home with happy hearts, grateful to God. Day 20. A wife for Isaac. Many years went by and Sarah had passed away. Abraham knew that soon he would be called up to heaven too. Before he died, he wanted to find a good wife for his son Isaac. Abraham called one of his most trusted servants to him. "Go to the land where I was born," Abraham told him. "My brother Nahor lives there. Find a good woman among his people for my son Isaac to marry." When the servant arrived, he was worn out from his long, tiresome journey. He rested with his camels near a well. There, a woman named Rebecca was filling her water jar. The servant asked her for a drink. "I'll be glad to give you a drink," she answered. Then she saw the servant's thirsty camels and kindly offered them some water as well. Abraham's servant had brought along some gold bracelets to give as gifts, and he placed them on Rebecca's arm. "Thank you for your kindness," he told her. Then he said, "Tell me, who is your family?" Rebecca replied, "My father is Bethuel, the son of Milcah and Nahor." Abraham's servant knew that he had found the right woman for Isaac. Not only was Rebecca kind and generous, she was also Abraham's relative. The servant told Rebecca that he had come on behalf of her uncle Abraham, so she invited him back to her home to stay with her family. Day 21. Isaac and Rebecca. Abraham's servant told Rebecca's father why he had come. "I have been sent to find a wife for my master Abraham's son Isaac, among his relatives." Then the servant said, "Rebecca has impressed me with her gentle kindness. I would like her to come back with me and be Isaac's wife." Rebecca's father and her brother Laban knew that this was God's plan. They were sad to see Rebecca go, but they were happy for her also. Isaac was walking out in his father's field when the servant and Rebecca approached on their camels. Rebecca spotted Isaac right away. There was something special about him. "Who is that man walking out there?" Rebecca asked. The servant replied, "That's Isaac, the man you will marry." So Isaac and Rebecca were married. They loved each other dearly, and Abraham could die happily, knowing that Isaac had a family of his own.